And welcome back to Inside IU Sports. Time to chat about women's basketball with assistant coach Alexa Bess. So, Coach, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And I think a lot of folks, because you've been here for all 5 of the seasons, so I know a lot of folks are like, well, Alexa's just always been here, but you do have a story before that.
Right.
So, just tell us a little bit about your life story in basketball, when you first became interested, when you first knew you were pretty good at it, and some of the places where basketball took you.
Ever since I can remember, I've been playing basketball. I grew up in Rushville, so that's a big thing in Rushville to want to be a Lady Lion, and that's what I kind of wanted to do from the beginning. So I stuck to that, and then I went to St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer, Indiana. Played for 3 years, and then I graduated in December of that 4th year. So, yep.
And for those, St. Joe's was a D2 school, so we're talking to a good player here, and anytime you can graduate in less than 4 years, you're doing something right. So, yeah, well done both on and off the court. And why basketball? Because folks may not know you're a pretty good tennis player as well as some other sports. So what about basketball did you decide to stick with that one?
Just like I said earlier, the Rushville, it's kind of a tradition down there, and if you're a little girl in Rushville, you want to be a Lady Lion. And tennis and soccer, I played those for all 4 years of high school, and I was okay at them, but that was just more for fun, and I just kind of honed in on basketball.
Okay. And then you mentioned finished school earlier than most. Why coaching? What led you to want to pursue that as a career out of college?
Yeah, I've always just been intrigued by basketball, and I knew that I wanted to do something along that line, and it kind of just opened up. IU East, I actually reached out to Mark Hester about some opportunities, and then the program was starting here, so it just kind of took off from there, and it was exciting, and I thought I would want to do it, and I ended up loving it.
And as you mentioned, the timing was perfect. When you got done with college, this is right when year 1 for the women's basketball program. Hard to believe it's been 5 years now. So some of your favorite maybe on-the-court memories through those first 5 seasons for the women's basketball program here? Yeah,
I think the one that kind of stands out is that 15-16 season where I think it was 15-16 where we won the conference tournament here. Am I right on that?
16-17.
16-17, whatever.
The one you mentioned was a good one too. So.
Yeah, that season, and then we made it to nationals, obviously, after winning the conference tournament and winning that first game. It was kind of our breakout as a program. We had worked so hard to get there, and it finally, nationally, it started to pay off. So.
And then obviously a lot of good things on the court, off the court, the things that maybe we as fans don't get to see, maybe some favorite off the court memories being around the team for these 5 years.
Yeah, just the bus rides. I mean, people hear it all the time, the bus rides and the team dinners, and nationals is a big thing, and Special Olympics, we were always involved in that out in Sioux City, and the girls always loved that, and it's just fun to see the girls kind of thrive in that. It's fun to watch that.
So all 5 seasons with head coach Tiffany Selhorst. So you've obviously heard her more than anyone. After all this time, is there a favorite Coach Selhorst saying or doing that comes to mind?
I guess the one that comes to mind is that she has no category. If somebody's late or if they're not working hard, she just doesn't understand it. So she's always like, I have no category for this. That's the one that kind of stands out that the girls watching this will probably laugh at, but she says it often. But other than that, I can't really think of anything.
Okay. You mentioned Rushville, which actually there's quite can't let you on the show without mentioning the Rushville connection between several players on the women's side that have played here as well as on the men's side.
Right.
So just talk about the Rushville connection and why it's been such a good fit for so many basketball players from Rushville.
Yeah, I just, for the girls' side, like I said, the Lady Lions we really like the fan base, and I think coming to IU East, it's close, and families can come, and that's a big thing. And for Nate Niehoff, I mean, he had a great career here, and his parents were always here, and it's been cool. And actually, we have Mackenzie Campbell's sister who just committed for the 2020 class, so that's exciting to kind of keep that going. And I don't know, all the Rushville players, they got a good program over there with a good coach, so.
And,
it's a good pipeline.
It's been a great pipeline for us here at IU East. You mentioned the recruiting. You have some new words in your title officially. You're now the recruiting coordinator as well. So with some of your first words in that role, basketball-wise, why should players moving forward? Why should players want to come to IU East?
Yeah, I think we've been pretty young, just being our 5th year. We've been in nationals 3 out of 5 years, and it's been cool to watch it go from nothing to now we're nationally recognized and as a program and as a school with our guys team doing so well. So just basketball-wise, you can come here and play. There's a chance to play, and just we got a good thing going, and I think we're going in the right direction.
And then off the court, there's a lot to offer academically, campus life. So off the court, why should players want to consider IU East?
I think the main thing, the kind of catch for people is that Big Ten degree, and coming here for academics, we have a lot of good programs, and just the professor-student ratio, I think it's like 17-1, so you can get that one-on-one attention that you wouldn't get at a bigger school. And yeah, it's just the faculty's great. I mean, they come to a bunch of our games, and it's pretty cool to see how close this IU East community is, as well as the Richmond community. So.
Part of this recruiting coordinator role, you let me help with a little research project, just coming up with as many accomplishments as possible, both on and off the court.
Right.
Found a lot of neat ones. Going through all those, are there one or two that you are particularly proud of in the 5 years that you've been here?
I think the whole Lingle Court, our undefeated season the first year, and how we've only lost, I think it's 11 games or something on the Lingle Court. That's a cool one. And then we're usually top 2 in the department on academics. I think that's a big one, just because we kind of hone in on academics as a team. So those 2, and just, I don't know, just a bunch of random ones that I had no idea, and then when you told me them, I was like, wow, I didn't know that.
I say some free advertising. The one, for what it's worth, the one I was, I think, most impressed with, over the 5 years, your program has the best record in the conference of all conference teams, which, considering, you know, that was as a startup program, and to have the best record over those 5 years.
That's pretty cool to be able to start and not have any, not expectations, because the coaching staff always has expectations, but nobody else kind of knew what to expect, and for us to just kind of take off and then be able to build on that consistently every year, it's been pretty cool.
Okay. Talk a little basketball then. Before we look forward, we'll take a quick look back at last year. The record, maybe not quite what used to, but and I know your staff, you don't believe in excuses, but you played a really tough schedule. So if the goal had been just to go win a certain number of games, you probably could have done that just by scheduling a little different. So it was a really tough schedule. Maybe the win-loss wasn't quite where you wanted, but with a lot of new young players, I feel like it was a good foundation year to get things moving forward.
Oh,
so
definitely.
Just your take on this past year.
Yeah, just like you said, I mean, we were young, and that's not an excuse. We don't want to use it as an excuse, but those players that were put in those situations to play, now they have experience. So next year when we add new players, and they'll be ready for that. And yeah, we played a tough schedule, but we didn't make excuses, and we picked off a few of those teams, and conference, it showed, and we did well in the conference. So.
Another fun fact we researched, every year of the women's basketball program have beaten at least one top 30 team, and continued that last year as well.
Yep.
So now we'll head to next year. A lot coming back, a lot of new ones coming in. Just what's going to be the focus in the offseason to get back to maybe some of the goals that have been reached in the past?
Yeah, I think just consistency, I guess, would be number one. Just learning how to work hard consistently every day, and just the team aspect, just getting closer as a team and getting closer with the staff, and yeah.
And for those that maybe don't follow NAIA basketball, they're allowed to do a lot in the summer, so can look forward to a lot of hard work for the women's basketball program. You can follow both IU East women's basketball and the IU East volleyball team that we spoke with Coach McConaughey earlier at IUERedwolves.com. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of Inside IU East Sports. I'm Kyle Wright with the IU East Athletic Department, and we look forward to seeing you next time.